overall, you could argue, boy, this is a loss for the Eagles. But we're talking about, given the present situation, what they just did, given the reality of the situation, I think they won. Stephen A., what you're arguing is here's a chance where Indianapolis could win. Frank Reich and DiFilippo, those are the only two, the Colts and the Bears, who looked at Wentz and said, we think we can fix him. But both reportedly thought it was a whole ground up or top down, if you start with his head, situation. They were going to have to rebuild him, not just tweak him. So it's not a coincidence that two guys who were on the coaching staff in the past when Wentz was at his best thought, yes, we can rebuild this guy, which is what it was going to take, right? That's one. Two, if Wentz goes there and Reich is correct and he can rebuild them, and Wentz then has success, and Wentz, who's been injury-prone in his career, stays healthy, then you'll be right, Stephen A. A lot of things have to happen between now and then for you to say the Colts won, the Eagles lost. As of right now, the Eagles just moved an immovable contract off their books and got draft compensation for it. A second and a third right now could wind up being a second and a first.
Well, I'm not caught up on the draft picks. I'm thinking about the $33 million in dead cap space combined with a pick that may or may not end up being a first rounder. I think a lot of these teams overblow the value of these picks from time to time. If you can sit up there and trade a number 2 overall pick, why should we be so enamored with the fact that you got a second round pick or a third round pick? That's just how I view it. I'm not saying it's completely meaningless, but I don't overblow it to the degree that some NFL folks do personally. And I think Rob is absolutely right when you talk about the Eagles front office, but it ain't the ownership because, as you said and you pointed out on many occasions, Max, you still got to spend the money. So with Jeffrey Lurie, even though you got the $33 million in dead cap space, it's really up to the GM to maneuver his way around that. It's not like more additional dollars are coming out of the pocket of Jeffrey Lurie. It's just that the numbers that's coming out of his pocket, you got to figure out a way to do the right things with it if you're Howie Roseman. Now we get to the Carson Wentz situation, and let me tell you this, and Rob will verify this. Pretty easily he'll do so. Max Kellerman, if Carson Wentz had won the Super Bowl instead of Nick Foles, this city wouldn't have been so vicious towards him, even with a down year like this year. Make no mistake about it. He didn't win that ring, and he knows it. So when he came out and he came to the rescue last year and got them to the playoffs despite all of those injuries, it was definitely an accomplishment, but you still came up short because you didn't win the chip. The level of cachet that Carson Wentz would have had he not gotten hurt when he went 11-2 before going down with Frank Reich as his offensive coordinator and Doug Peterson as his head coach, if he had gone on to win the Super Bowl without Nick Foles ever needing to come in, it would have been a totally different mindset in Philadelphia about Carson Wentz, despite how awful last season was.
I
but
think
the fact
Philly
of the matter
stuck with
is,
him way
being
too long.
injury-prone combined with being ineffective and inefficient once you are healthy is a death knell. That's what happened.
I think Philly fans stuck with him too long, to tell you the truth, too. I was
They did
surprised
not.
with how
They did not.
Carson Wentz was not good at the end of 2019.
They didn't stick with him too long. That's what I'm saying. They didn't stick with him too long.
I'm saying the narrative in 2019 that he brought them to the playoffs, he played poorly in the second half of 2019. They got lucky. He was playing the worst division ever and not performing very well. He was turning the ball over on third down in the fourth quarter
Alshon
consistently.
Jeffrey was out. Nelson Aguilar was out. Deshaun Jackson was out at the time.
Well, he was playing terrible teams. I'll say this. It's not just the number. If you want to take the big picture, then I agree with you guys. It's a fiasco for the Eagles. If you want to back up Stephen A., it's not just that they used the second overall pick. They used enormous draft capital to trade up to the second overall pick to take Wentz. Of course, in the big picture. And then why do you give him the contract and then draft a quarterback in the second round, turn around within the same year? It's ridiculous. Yes. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.